Hello everybody and welcome to the official. And I'm calling it official because who's a bigger Ace Attorney fan than me? Nobody at all. So welcome to the official Ace Attorney character tier list. Now I'm gonna go by each individual character in the series. So far I played every single Ace Attorney game at least twice. Alright, so I think I would have a basic idea on where these characters would line up within this specific system. Whatever. How this is going to work is I'm going to go through, each episode is going to go through one game. Unless you want this video to be like 10 hours long. We're going to go through each game individually per episode. However, just because I'm talking about an individual game doesn't mean that I'm going to stick to that individual game. So, for example, I'm going to not only talk about Phoenix in Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, I'm going to talk about him in Justice for All, in Trials and Tribulations, in Apollo Justice. You know, every single one of those I'm going to take into consideration is going to be my final, basically what the character is throughout the entire series. I have not played through the Professor Layton crossover. However, I do not think that would hamper my opinion on Phoenix, Maya, or Edgeworth. But I believe those are the only people that were in those games. However, once we do get to the Professor Layton episode, then I would like do that stuff and whatever. But I gotta play the game first. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, with the main man, Phoenix Wright. You know what, Phoenix Wright is not that good. He's pretty he's not even that good of a lawyer, really. He just gets lucky all the time and whatever. But Phoenix is obviously an S-tier character. Most of the time when I think about, like, main characters in the story, they're not my favorite characters. You know, like, a big example is, like Avatar The Last Airbender. I don't think that Aang is my favorite character, right? I think that Zuko is my favorite character. So, like, most of the time, I would not have, like, the main character, like, very high up. But in this case, Phoenix is going to be quite high. I think it would be in the top 10. At least the top 10 characters in the series. So let's start out with him being a rookie. First of all, he's actually funny. And, like, his inner thoughts are very entertaining to read. And they're very well written. So he's completely entertaining throughout all of the games. I think that where he's at his best in, like, doing Farewell My Turnabout whenever, like, Maya gets kidnapped. You know, how he actually, like he's in a very dire situation that he has to, like, save Maya, and, like, he's so conflicted about whether or not to make the actual killer guilty or innocent. You know, argue for whatever case. So basically, let a killer go free or sacrifice Maya. I think that, like, that conflict very much, like, it settles Phoenix as, like, a more serious character. Like, that's like how desperate he can get, and, like, he's just, like, doing this. He just did this to, like, you know, to, like, save Edgeworth, you know, and make him not be an asshole, and, like, find out why Edgeworth was forging evidence and stuff like that, and forging testimonies. That was Phoenix's motivation into getting into the law, but now that he is here, he's kind of, like, stuck with it. As until Apollo Justice, I think Apollo Justice Phoenix is the best version of Phoenix, because he's just, like, just so full of spite towards Christoph Gavin that he's just been holding in this plan, just like patiently waiting for it to come to fruition. And, like, even when he, like, lost his badge, he didn't, like, throw a tantrum, right? He just accepted it, alright, and just went into the shadows, waiting for the opportunity to strike. And yeah, he eventually did get that opportunity. The part that I'm with Phoenix that I dislike the most is how he became a lawyer again for Dual Destinies. I know he became a lawyer so that he can fight the Dark Age of the Law, but when they go with the message of, oh yeah, let's let the newbies, you know, I'm like, I could be a mentor to the newbies and have the newbies fix the Dark Age of the Law, right? But no, Phoenix just is like, I'm gonna do it myself. I got my badge back pretty easily, thanks to Edgeworth, I believe. And he just goes on through. I think that in terms of like Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice Phoenix, he's fine. I think that I'm gonna say that a lot though. I think that Phoenix doing the Turnabout Revolution when he was defending politician, even though that he knows he's guilty because politician has like Maya held hostage or whatever. Again, I think that I don't have really a problem with it, because they did the same plot point again. It's just more like, what is it like to go against Phoenix? I think that's what they were going with when they decided to write that. But like, overall, Phoenix, a very good, well-written character. Funny, I like his sarcastic dialogue, his banter with Maya and whatever. I think it's great. Although, him being, I think it was a little bit too much of a bitch to Edgeworth during Justice for All. But I do understand his reasoning why he was a bitch to Edgeworth, but I think he just relied. I think like him like not explaining himself until like the very end of why he was being a dick to Edgeworth. I don't think that makes sense. He should have just thrown it out there to Maya, being like, oh yeah, I basically chose my lifestyle, my whole career choice because of Edgeworth, and I wanted to save him. And then as soon as I did, he realized that he, oh man, he lost the case, so he's gone, you know. Like, I can understand why Phoenix would think that. But I'm gonna keep him there, in S tier, right there. Next up, Mia Fey. Mia Fey, is literally, well, she's important, but she's not prevalent. She doesn't appear except for as like a Damon X Machina. That's a game. Basically, just to come in at the last second to save everybody, save Phoenix, being like, hey, idiot. The answer was obvious. If you just thought about it, even for a second, you would have figured it out. I think that everybody can agree with me, which they should, because this is the official list. They can agree with me that Mia in Trials and Tribulations is the best Mia, because we actually get to understand her backstory, the relationship with Diego Armando, and it's kind of surprising that she kept even practicing law after the first couple of cases. And I also like that, like, Mia, like, composes herself. She presents herself as a very, like, serious, professional lawyer. And then once you get to play with her, you can tell, it's revealed, I suppose, that, like, she's just freaking out on the inside just as much as Phoenix was. However, due to her not being that relevant with the plotline, I'm gonna put her in A tier, because she doesn't just show up that much. She dies in the second case, and then she's just more of a character plotline for Phoenix rather than Mia herself, you know. This is official. I'm gonna put my mic back down here so you can see my gorgeous face. Maya. Up next is Maya. Maya Fey. I'm gonna put in S tier. Do I think she's better than Phoenix? No, I don't. I don't think she's better than Phoenix. Maya Fey, hilarious, adorable, and I love her backstory. Well, her plotline of her trying to get into, trying to become a, at least assert her role as the leader of the Crane School of Channeling. One of them. Jeez. Over the like 3 and I'm over the. I'm quenching I'm trying to quench my thirst, man. My throat is already dry. Maya. Yeah, all I can say is that she's a very entertaining character. I love the dialogue. I love the antics that she gets in. Even like, I mean, like the first time that like you could see that was during a Turnabout Samurai, where she was just like fucking around with pieces on the set. She would like grab the megaphone, stand in the director's chair, you know, grab the script, yell action, you know, like that type of like goofy, wacky stuff that like is expected of like side characters of Ace Attorney. That's where it started, I would say, for me at least. Maya, I think that in Spirit of Justice, when Maya comes back, and her just being literally the same character in terms of personality and all, I think that's good. I like that. I think that. Very good. I wouldn't want Maya to be anybody else. Phoenix, yes, I would. I would have rather have Apollo Justice Phoenix rather than Phoenix and Dual Destinies, right? Because it's something different, and Apollo's like the main character now. So like focus more on Apollo and developing his character rather than giving him like 17 backstories. But we're gonna get to Apollo Justice in like 2 months. Alright. So I think I'm gonna keep Maya there. Yes, we're going with that. Alright, up next, Miles Edgeworth. Where should I put Miles Edgeworth? Well, first of all, Miles Edgeworth, before I even place him, is one of my favorite characters. I think that he's like very intelligently written. That like every time his presence is there, I feel jubilated. It would be the right word, of course. His presence just like makes the scene so much better. And like in the investigation games, him like figuring out whether or not he wants to continue being a prosecutor or becoming a defense attorney like his father. I love that plot line. How he even like gives up his prosecutor's badge when he sees that the prosecutor council, PMC. Why can't I think of the name? The council that Blaze the Best runs. Like once Edgeworth saw that it was unjust and like gave away his prosecutor's badge. I love that part of it about a character that he sticks to his rules, but he's also willing to change, like he did throughout the first trilogy. Edgeworth being, oh yeah, Edgeworth thinking that he killed his father. Pretty insane. It's definitely the best part about 1. It's good at Turnabout Goodbyes, and that's because Edgeworth just fully carries it because of his conflicting feelings, unnecessary feelings towards Phoenix, of course. Every part about Edgeworth I just love. I will add that I love his voice as well. Even Kyle Eber's performance in Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice, I still like that version of Edgeworth. Some people hate Kyle Eber's performance of Edgeworth. I disagree. I like it a lot. I don't like it a lot more. I still like the original, but as an alternative, I like all the original voices, but the new voices, most of them are good. So Edgeworth, top of S tier. He's not gonna say that, but I would say that he might be top 3, top 4 characters in the series. A little bit of a spoiler alert, okay, about my thoughts. But yeah, I'm gonna keep Edgeworth there. Dickie Gumshoe, Detective Dick Gumshoe. He's just a dork, a goofball. and we all love him for it. Even though he's like stupid, that like we don't play him off too much that he's an idiot, especially in like the investigations games where he actually like does his job quite well enough that he actually gets a raise, and that's Gumshoe's character arc, is that his pay gets decreased every game until finally he gets a raise. That's his plot point. That's his plot line. And why would I want it any differently? Yeah, Gumshoe, honestly, I'm fine with the detectives in Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. I'm fine with the detectives there. I just want Gumshoe to at least appear. But sadly, the last appearance that he had was whenever he got a raise. They do mention him in Turnabout Time Traveler, but they only mention him. And that's all we get about Gumshoe. Love the man, putting him S tier. Right there. I mean, the game. I mean, the main four are there. They're gonna be an S tier, of course. Alright, now we get to controversial opinions. Larry Butz. Alright, Larry Butz. I particularly remember Mac despising this character. I don't know if he despises this character, but he groaned every time he appeared. I do not mind Larry Butz all that much. I think that Oldbag is considerably worse. Yeah, I'll say Oldbag is considerably worse. Is she? I'll get to that later. But in terms of Larry Butz, we did have, like, of course he's like the stupid character that always gets into trouble. I do like such the ridiculous situations that Larry gets into, specifically in Turnabout Ablaze. And as much as I don't like Turnabout Ablaze, I do like the stupidity of Larry in that case, that like only Larry would get into a situation like that. You know, I like that part. Larry becoming an artist and actually being quite good at it, honestly. That's his arc, I would say, is that he's trying to find his passion, his what he wants to do with his life, and becoming an artist is what he does. Even though everybody says that he sucks at art, I think his pieces are pretty good. Yeah, Larry's whole shtick with trying to like getting a girlfriend and whatever. Like, I have like 17 girlfriends or whatever. Yeah, it does get a little bit old, but he still does. He tones it down like once he becomes an artist and whatever. Now he's more into like art. You know, just let him live his life. Who cares? I think Larry in Turnabout Goodbyes, honestly pretty good. That he just like comes in last second to save Edgeworth. I really like Larry in that case. Him, the whole hot dog stand biz, the whole, especially, like, yeah, when he heard that Edgeworth was the one who was the defendant, he like turned very serious, like, whoa, I gotta help my buddy, you know, and like be like, hey, and also that's when Phoenix's story about Edgeworth saving him during the class trial, and Larry was there as well. Like, Larry's like, hey, yeah, you were in trouble, I wanted to help you, but yeah, I was also the guy who stole the $20, and I felt kind of bad about it. Larry's not an incredible character, but he's the side character that when he shows up, you know, everything's gonna go batshit insane, and that's what we want. That's what we want. It's entertainment, okay? We want things to go insane. This is Ace Attorney. We want things to go batshit insane, all right? And Larry is the catalyst of all that. So we're gonna put him in B for now. The Judge. Ooh. The Judge. We're gonna put the Judge. Honestly, the Judge has no story arc. I think it's like parts where he's like he actually gets serious. He's like, you know what? You guys are pretty insane, but hey, I'm still a reasonable guy, and I would allow. What was it in particular that like he was like probably something with like I think it's something with Von Karma, maybe that like Von Karma didn't want to testify, didn't want a search or whatever, and like the judges are like, I'm allowing Phoenix to do a search because it would unveil the truth, you know, and rather than, you know, your position in power or whatever, you know, the judge is being reasonable. Oh, him and what was it called? Turnabout. Case 4 of Investigations 1. Turnabout Reminisce. Was that? That might be Investigations 2, Case 3. But anyway, Investigations 1, Case 4. He was hilarious in that, and like we get to actually testify. Have the judge give testimony, and we get to cross-examine him. That was a good part. Hey, Investigations 1 is the worst game, but that part was good. So yeah, I'm putting him right here, buying Gumshoe, because I like the writing of Ace Attorney, and particularly when they just make like stupid jokes, and usually the judge is like the butt of the joke a lot, and I like those jokes because I'm a child. Oh wait, Winston Payne. We're going to Winston Payne next. I mean, what is there to say about Winston Payne? His confidence, his cockiness makes him a little bit charming. The part where we learn how he lost his head of hair, that's good. That's part of his character, I guess. In About Trump, he's just like, even like he recognizes that the child goes gets so out of control that Winston Payne like basically has nothing left to do, and he even acknowledges it. Like, what the fuck? I'm just here. I'm just here. I don't know what the fuck to do. That's my case, and like Phoenix like takes control over everything. Other than that, I don't know. Winston Payne's kind of weird. There's a weird presence. Him being the first prosecutor, good gag. Shu, good gag. Again, the first prosecutor after in every case, in every game, except for one that he's not. Yeah, just like the whole joke about him is that he's forgetful. C? Yeah, I'll put C. I'll put characters that are like average in C, characters I don't like in D, and characters I despise in F. Alright, there's like few characters I absolutely despise, so I'll put them there whenever. B is like average, I like him, and A is like, yeah, I like him, and then S is just like incredible character all the way through. I would marry them, basically. Characters I don't like. Let's go with Cindy Stone. Hey, don't you guys remember Cindy Stone? What? You telling me you don't remember Cindy Stone? She was an important aspect of the game. All right. She was the victim of the first case, and especially with checking my phone because I'm bored. I'm bored of my own tier list. Cindy Stone is just an entity that exists. She's also a daddy's girl, yeah, she like sugar daddies and whatever. That was a plot point about her. But she didn't like cared about Larry because she took the clock with her to, where did she go? She went to New York. No, she went to New York in the Japanese version. She went to Paris. an American version, I believe. Right? Yes, we'll go with that. Took the clock with her to Paris, meaning that she did care about Larry, and D tier. D tier for Sydney Stone. A lot of the victims are kind of forgettable, but there were some victims that I will bring up that were pretty interesting. Not in this game, though. Actually, no, not in this game. Alright, let's go with Frank Sahwit. I really like his breakdown of him throwing his toupee at Phoenix. That's pretty much it. When he appeared back in Investigations 2, the Turnabout, the Imprisoned Turnabout, I think it's called. Cool. I'm glad he's there. But just as forgetful as Winston Payne. Like, he's fine. Pretty obvious killer, but the fact that they're obvious or not, well, then again, they did show us who the killer was, so I would say it was pretty obvious. But the fact, like, that they were, like, easy to catch or whatever, I don't really consider that a part of the character. It's just more like whether or not the writing wants to make it easy on you to figure out who the killer is, and rather just like tell you who the killer is so you can focus on how they did it. So like, all right, put a good thanks all right there. April May. They do a lot of all these cute, attractive girls or on the stand, and they are like trying to win over the crowd by showing their tits. You know, they do that character quite a bit. And oh no, they were actually crazy. That type of chick. Whatever. Thing about April May, I believe she was coerced into doing it because she was like an intern for Red White. I think she was an intern, like something like that. So it wasn't really her fault. She was just like, yeah, like I said, she was coerced into doing that. I think that, like, from the fact that she was the first one to do it, and it was a little bit interesting, and knowing that they do it like 50 other times, not really 50 other times, probably like 3 other times, makes it less interesting. But you know what? Whatever. Yeah, I'll put it. Huh? I'll put it right there. Yeah, I'll put it there. Yes. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with this. Winston Payne he's doing the hard carry in the C tier. All right. Red White. Being the killer of Mia Fey. I just love his attitude, his personality. Superfluous, you know, like, my god, look at me, I'm shining, I have purple hair, I'm unique. The only part I don't like is, how he was caught, and he just, like, and how it wasn't even Phoenix that caught him, it was Mia. Fuck, what's wrong with me? It was Mia. That's not really a bad thing about Red White's character. It was just bad writing within the script. Yeah, I just like his attitude. Let's put him next to Mia. For no reason at all. I do like a lot of killers, and I would say that Red White is probably the 4th best killer in the series. In this game, in the first game. 4th best killer in the game. Alright, the bellboy. A bellboy. I believe the bellboy even showed up during the kidnap turnabout for like 5 seconds. D tier. He did have a good joke about like, oh, I get the one. I'm the one who gets to write the affidavit. I will be known as the bellboy who wrote the affidavit. I think that's a pretty good joke, but other than that, useless appearance. Not really useless, but one good joke. and that's it. So we're gonna put the bellboy there. Marvin Grossberg. A lot of people harp on him for his like hemorrhoids comments or whatever. You gotta adjust you gotta adjust hemorrhoids comments, all right? I didn't really have I didn't have that big of an issue about them. Yeah, he does say it a little bit too many times, but it's not like, yeah, sure. It's kind of inoffensive to me, personally. But him in Turnabout Sisters, how he was, because he was the one who gave the information of Misty Fey being about the police using spirit medium, and Misty Fey was the one that did it, and he's the one that gave that information to Red White, and now he's like completely fucked and he deeply regrets it. Like, that aspect of his character I really enjoy. And just him in Turnabout Beginnings. Yeah, I believe it's Turnabout Beginnings. No? Turnabout Beginnings was 3-4. 3-1 was 3-1. 3-1 was 3-1. Him in 3-1, I thought he was fine. You know, not too much. Him showing up in Turnabout Sisters is out of the blue. What was the purpose of him doing that? I forgot. Tell me right now. Yeah, you don't know either. What was the reason that he showed up? I believe he had some information about DL6. Did he? Yeah, he would have definitely, because he's very involved in DL6. Yeah. Like something about that. I like his demeanor. I like his personality. I put him right there. An A tier. Many people put him lower. I put him in an A tier. This is the official list. Alright, don't forget about that. This is the official list. Alright? Okay. Up next is Will Powers. Will Powers. You know what? Will Powers is kind of like a mid-tier character. I would say he's more like right here. That, like, yeah, his presence is pretty cool because he's just like a genuinely chill guy. And, like, there's nothing too interesting about him. It's just that, oh, the guy that looks like Hugh Jackman and looks very much like a Sasquatch or whatever, looks like Wolverine. It's actually a very paranoid, skittish type of guy. And that's basically the joke with him. But that's it. Really, that's it. He's just like, yeah, good, he's here. Will Powers is here. I don't want my turnabout. Oh, well, Will Powers is here. Cool. He does have, like, complete afflicting, like, he did, like, he was quite saddened from the fact that, like, Longreader is dead, and, you know, and, like, he was betrayed by his co-workers, and, like, he thought that, people, like, you know, he's like, oh no, I've trusted everybody in my industry, and now they're killing each other. I'm upset about that. That's quite saddening. I would like to get involved in this case because it affects me personally. Stuff like that. Whatever. Yeah, good. Put Will Powers there. Jack Hammer. Jack Hammer. The victim of Case 3. Let's see here. Jack Hammer. The fact that he was going to go and kill D. Vasquez, and that was his whole plan, and he disguised as Will Powers just to frame him. Like, he's the culprit behind this entire case. It's just that D. Vasquez killed him first before he could kill her. That part is interesting. I think that in terms of killers, put him a little bit higher. Yeah, I'll put him in there because of his unique plan. Because he would have been a very important character had he not died. Actually, the plant actually, like, him being the killer might have been much more obvious. Well, D. Vasquez being the killer was also obvious because she fucking had a bunch of Yakuza, like, ambush us. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Why are you expecting me to, like, tell you what I think? It's not like this is my list. So, like, in terms of in terms of victims, Jackhammer is one of the more interesting victims because of the fact that he wasn't just a victim. Cody Hackins. Cody Hackins. Huh. Mash. Cody Hackins. Him being just a kid that, like, despises adults but likes very hot adult women. Yeah, good with that. Kind of weird, but sure. His whole, like, trading card scheme with penny nickels wasn't really necessary within the case, but hey, it gives him a bit more character, makes him much more nerdy and whatever. Yeah, just somebody who, like, infiltrates the studio just to take a picture of his favorite actor during a live show and, like, doesn't realize. I believe he actually did realize that, like, yeah, because the Steel Samurai lost that fight, so, like, he was like, hold on a second, did I just see the series finale of the Steel Samurai? That's unbelievable. I can't believe this. No way, that didn't happen. So yeah. You know what? Let's put him there. Hey, very well explained thesis summary of Cody Hackins' character, Darren. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're gonna move on to Penny Nichols, the most, not really the most pointless. Maybe the most pointless, actually. Yeah, the most pointless character in the series, because literally, all she is there for, she's a PA, but she doesn't even do, like, PA stuff, and who being a PA doesn't have any effect on the case. I believe she becomes the director. Is she a PA? No, she's still a PA doing investigations too. I believe she's still a PA. Even so, she was just there for that case. Didn't really have anything interesting to say. Didn't really make herself stand out other than being a very bland character. So, like, her only purpose for being in the series was that she can have a trading card, like the rare trading card that Cody Hackins wanted. And that's it. That's it. That's it. Fucking D tier. Fucking to get there. Wendy Oldbag. All right. Now we got to decide who is worse, Wendy Oldbag or Larry Butz. Now let's say a bit of positives about Wendy Oldbag. Her in Turnabout Samurai was actually very good on how she, like, she was deeply affected by the death of Jack Hammer because she was supporting Jack Hammer during his times with the studio and whatever. Like, she thought that he was an incredible actor, and was just, like, baffled that anybody would want to kill him. And, like, how Jack Hammer was gaining, like, a bunch of roles stealing from him, and, like, Will Powers was one of those people that stole the Steel Samurai role from Jack Hammer, I believe. And now Jack Hammer is, like, reduced to playing villains and, like, shitty roles because of how he accidentally killed somebody. Jose? No. I don't believe his name was Jose. I believe D. Vasquez's lover, somebody that D. Vasquez cared about. And now, like, D. Vasquez, like, blackmailed Jack Hammer. Like, when the elbow gives us all that information, it makes it better. Actually, now that I think about that, we're gonna put trying to think, Sahwit. Nope, keep him there. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Wendy Oldbag for every other appearance. I said this during the case tier list, but when she shows up in Investigations 1, I felt like her showing up during case 3 was completely, it should not have happened. Even though, yes, her testimonies usually be like, I saw a man in a costume. So therefore, I mean, I think that the person that's usually in that costume was in that costume at the time. You know, that's usually what her testimonies were, and that's how that case was gonna go. And of course, you gotta have Wendy Oldbag there in order to make that mix-up. So actually, I don't believe she even got that wrong in Turnabout Ablaze. So like maybe like cut Wendy Oldbag out of Turnabout Ablaze, because the whole point of her being there was that the joke of Larry Butz like trying to sneak into her room was that he was sneaking into Wendy Oldbag's room. Yeah. Yeah, probably take Wendy Oldbag out of that case and then keep her in case 3, because she fits in that case a little bit more. Other than that, I don't think she's that annoying. Because she shows up in Farewell My Turnabout. Is that like the worst she is? No. Yeah. She doesn't show up that often, actually. Not that I recall. Because she only shows up in 1, 3, 2, 4, and then the end credits of 3, and then shows up in Investigations 1 on cases 3 and 5. Yeah, I'm gonna put it lower than Larry Butz then. Winston Will Palace. Yeah, I'm gonna put it there actually. But her whole presence of being there, I think that she harps a little bit too much on Edgeworth, and that's mostly her character in the later games. But I didn't think she was that annoying. I think that right there in B is a pretty good placement for Wendy Oldbag. Sal Manila. It's gonna be my first F tier character. Woo! Having a very grotesque character just like be like very pervy and whatever, it does make sense for somebody who makes like Japanese anime to do, because have you seen some of the anime that people make? But his whole relevance within the case was just non-existent. Everything that he said, D. Vasquez could have just said. And also, why does the producer want the script? That also doesn't make sense. It would make sense for the director to like D. Vasquez's alibi was, oh, I left my script at my house or whatever. So maybe if like Sal Manila was the killer instead, I don't know about that. That doesn't make any sense either. This isn't okay. This video isn't about like, oh, what would I change about the plot of Ace Attorney? All right, this is more about what do I think about these characters, what the plot given to me by Shu Takumi. All right, and other people in the later games. So yeah, I would say Sal Manila, pretty terrible. I just dislike his presence. I don't think he's really all that funny. His lead speak is kind of very outdated, but even at the time, I would say it's outdated. 2001, yeah, those lead speak is pretty outdated. I just didn't think it was a very funny character, and kind of a waste of space on the cartridge. He's literally a waste of space on the cartridge. That's all. There we go. D. Vasquez. I believe that D. Vasquez is one of the best killers in the series. All right, hold on. I believe the whole bit about sympathizing with the killer works very well here, because we're supposed to be hating this person throughout the entire thing, because she like ordered a hit on us and whatever, or like rather called her guards to come and beat us up or kill us. Like yeah, but however, how she was a victim in this as well, how she was a victim in case 3. Her lover or friend or whatever, I can't remember, was killed by a jackhammer, and then jackhammer came to kill her because she did blackmail him, but did she really blackmail him? Yeah, I would say she did, but still, she didn't, she was just protecting herself, and, was just deeply depressed. She's a depressed woman. And that's all we gotta say about her. Am I right? Am I right, boys? Hey, up top, she was a little bit depressed. Honestly, I can't think of too much to say about Dee Vasquez, other than I like her presence. I like to, and also she's like one of the few killers that like doesn't have like an overt breakdown, like a very exaggerated breakdown, which I do like those. Don't get me wrong, I do like those. But like the characters that don't do it, they stick out a little bit more because they seem more human, right? Than the people that have like full-on breakdowns. So yeah, I'm gonna put Dee Vasquez there. Yell at me in the comments. I don't care. Bring them on. Bring them on. Manfred von Karma. Is also one of the best killers in this series. Whoa! We're bringing. Oh my god! Hold up a second. Actually, I think yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna leave him there. Manfred von Karma, just from like the evilness, how yeah, how demented he is, and like how like he got his permanent record was damaged from Gregory Edgeworth, pointing out that he might have faked some evidence, and just by that he decides like his pride was just like dented just barely, and just from that he fully just like basically started the series of Ace Attorney. Although the series of Ace Attorney started because of a baking competition, but at the beginning of the series, this is how he just started the series, because as something so very insignificant. Yeah, Manfred, his whole personality, how he's just very prideful, takes everything seriously. No silliness in the courtroom. All right, we're being serious here. We're gonna convict people. All right, especially him like convicting, essentially his adopted son Edgeworth of being a murderer. Like he has. They show him he has no sympathy for people, but like I do like in the anime, like I think like Edgeworth finds a dog, and then like Von Karma was like, oh, okay, fine, you can have it, whatever. As long as you can take care of it. Like in the anime, I believe that Von Karma wasn't like that strict of a dad. He was pretty alright. He would say he would like lie down like ground rules, like that like posh people would do. But overall, he wasn't that bad of a person. And we're gonna see a bit more of that during Investigations 1 when he shows up, and like how he's just basically being just more of like an authority figure for Edgeworth and Francisco, and be like, hey, go investigate this case. It'll be good for your future. Go do that, kids. Go investigate a murder. I just like his presence all the time. I just wish that he was in more things, as like more flashbacks or whatever, give us more character of Manfred von Karma. But lot of heart. In terms of reoccurring characters, I think that Lana Hut is probably the worst, because she had a character arc where, you know what? I'm not gonna look up any. I'm not gonna like follow any like mythical beast or whatever. I'm gonna go into celebrity tabloids and like do that. And then she goes into celebrity tabloids, and then she's like, well, that sucks. Now I'm gonna go and do something else. I'm gonna basically continue my my photography career and actually do something worthwhile. You know, it seemed like that she was, that was going to be her arc, right? Is that rather than essentially it was not supposed to be what she became in like Investigations 2, but she just went back to like supporting like Gordy and whatever and Muzilla, and like I thought that was, I think that scene and that list of testimonies is easily the worst in the series because of how stupid it is, all right, and how completely out of character, not really out of character, but how much they like destroy Lana Huck's credibility, her dignity, all right, by just making her go back to that scheme. I think I like her in Turn Out Goodbyes, but every other time that she shows up, not really good. Oh, that's right. So like at the end of Justice for All, she went from a tabloid, a celebrity tabloid photographer, to now to be basically a paranormal photographer, because she took a picture of Mia Fey and she's like freaking out and like, okay, I'm gonna get into paranormal stuff. And then in Trials and Tribulations, she realized that shit, this stuff is scary. And then now she went back, she's going to like become a photographer, I believe a journalist, and like actually be a good journalist and whatever. And then at the beginning of Investigations 2, she was that. She was like a mentor to Nicole Swift. Be a mentor to her and be a good like journalist, be a little bit like get a little bit nosy as when it comes to being a journalist, you know, that makes sense, right? It's just that everything just fell down whenever she just started saying that, oh, Missoula is back and whatever. So I'm gonna put Lana Hart right here as a character I do not like. Yeah, easily. Yeah, I would say she's the worst character that appears over and over again. Shame, because I thought that she had potential to be good. Yana Yogi. I want to say Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra. Boo-boo. A word. Yana Yogi. Let's put Yana Yogi. Actually, yeah. I think Yana Yogi is better than you guys guys. Also one of the better killers of the series, because yeah, he was just fully a victim. I also said this during the case tier list, that what they did within the Ace Attorney movie of showing Yana Yogi's past, I believe that's easily the best scene in that movie, and it's what I imagined what happened whenever like Yana Yogi like got off scot-free, but everybody still called him a murderer because everybody knew that he was the one that did it, you know, but he really wasn't the one that did it. It was Von Conner. And like his revenge plot and everything that came together, him acting like aloof, a senile grandpa, the whole joke about opening up a noodle business. It was a noodle business, right? Yeah, I believe so. Pretty good. Everything about Yana Yogi was pretty good. Hey, good job. Good job. Hey, good job. Shoot, all right. You made a good character right there. Not a lot of characters have, not a lot of killers have, like the backstory and the reasoning and like the actual good motive that Yana Yogi does. There'll be some characters that like, they have a motive, but the motive is completely stupid. But we'll get to that in like 12 months. Robert Hammond, I believe his name is. Yeah, Robert Hammond. Him being the attorney for Yana Yogi, and it makes sense that Yana Yogi would want to kill him. It's just like him being corrupt and whatever. That's basically what's important. That's the most important part about him, is that he's just corrupt. D tier. Everybody's gonna be in front of Sandy Stone. Everybody. Except for Salmonella. Jesus Christ. The squeak outside. I don't know what that was. My god, there was monkeys outside. Alright, let's go with Missile. Woo! Missile the dog. I think that we should have Missile be the representation of B tier. Alright? So anybody that's lower than B tier is worse than a dog. Alright? I think that's a good idea. Thank you. Polly! Polly actually being important. Put Polly in front of Missile. Polly being an actual important part of the case. Yeah. Let's keep that. Yep. Right there. Polly. And also good. One of the best parts of Turn About Goodbyes is just interrogating a bird. Very good. Emma Sky. I brought in Emma Sky's Apollo Justice sprite because I feel like Emma Sky is more notable within Apollo Justice, like the Apollo trilogy. I think that's where she shines the best, because she, I really like the optimism of her doing Rise from the Ashes. Mac despised her. No reason, I have no clue why he despised her. It's just probably because I think that Mac just does not like when characters replace other characters. It makes no sense to me. Yeah, bring in more characters, allow me to see different personalities and different storylines, you know. Yeah, bring in more characters. I have no issue with characters replacing other characters. Especially Emma replacing Gumshoe as the detective for the later games. Except for Bobby Fulberg when he shows up when he's the detective for Duel of Destinies. But other than that, right, Emma Sky's the main detective. I really like the contrast between her being the main detective, not the main detective, her being like so optimistic about I'm gonna be a private investigator type of thing. Not a private investigator, a forensic scientist. Jesus, I couldn't think of the name. A forensic scientist, forensic investigator. She's like, I'm gonna be that, and in Apollo Justice, her optimism is just completely down. It's just completely dead. She's completely pessimistic because she's now just a basic detective rather than being a forensic investigator like she wanted. And like she's only interested in whenever we bring up in the forensic investigation, she preps up and like becomes more cheery and whatever. But overall, I like that. I like that a lot when it comes to Emma Sky. That's basically the main points. So that's why I'm putting her right there in front of Manfred von Karma. I think that Gumshoe is more iconic as a detective, but Emma Sky, I really like her presence, and every time she shows an Apollo Justice, it makes her scene a lot better. Alright. Lana Sky. Lana Sky as a defendant, I actually do like. I do like Lana Sky's whole keeping quiet because she believes that her sister was the one that killed Neil Marshall, and like that whole motivation is very interesting. I'll put it there in front of Red White. Yeah, I'll put it in front of Red White. That makes sense. I'll put it in front of Grossberg as well. Her keeping silent, her motivation behind that, even willing to go to prison just to save Emma Sky. I love that. Very good part about Rise of the Ashes. Rise from the Ashes. Rise of the Ashes. Alright, Damon Gant, one of the best killers in the series, I would say. Put him up there. He's just... His stare is just so intimidating. His whole personality is just so charismatic. Like, you could watch this guy just be on the stand all day and you would never be bored. I just love his way of, once again, being intimidating while also just like showing that I'm a cheerful guy. Yeah, you don't need to worry about me. I'm definitely not somebody who is very corrupt and has killed people. Okay, I am a cheery guy. His theme song is both, I love it. His breakdown's incredible. And his whole plan, it was actually very intelligent. He had like a 17-step plan. Like, so most killers are like, oh shit, I'm just gonna whack a guy with a stick and then hide the evidence. I'm gonna throw a stick 2 feet away from the crime scene. There we go, that's gonna work. But Damon Gant, no, he had like years of planning for this whole scheme about him controlling the police and whatever. I don't think I need to talk too much about Damon Gant because everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say Damon Gant is one of the best killers in the series. So I'm gonna keep it up. I'm just not gonna say anything. Jake Marshall, I really like. Very entertaining character. Everybody's entertaining, alright? Except for Salmonella. Jake Marshall, just his whole, like, cowboy bit. Really liked it. Never got old. And also, like, his whole motivation of breaking into, like, trying to, like, take, you know, trying to also solve the Neil Marshall murder, and he thinks that, oh, there was evidence was forged. Evidence was forged, and so that's why he went into the evidence room to like steal stuff and whatever. You know what I'm saying. I put him in front of Wright though. Yeah. Jake Marshall, pretty good. Pretty sick theme song as well. Angel Starr. Oh god. Angel Starr, her testimony runs for like 40 hours. She's like, her testimony just needed to be like 2 testimonies and then that's it. But that's it. Like her whole, her being like so stubborn of like giving answers and whatever, and like she has a bit of like a diva status. I'm like, oh my god. Putting her there, she sucks. She sucks. I don't like her at all. And she has, and her animations like take like 20 hours because she has to like show like, oh, here's a different type of a lunchbox that I gave you. And I'm like, well, cool. That's a nice sprite of some fish bones, but you don't have to do that every 5 seconds. Yeah, Angel Starr is just so insignificant, so unnoteworthy that we just gotta put her there. I mean, like, she's easily the worst part of that case. Yeah, that case. Mike Beacons. Mike Beacons, a rookie cop that, like, doesn't know what he's doing, always gets into wacky situations. Oh, he lost his gun. Oh, no. Oh, he was chasing a child and suddenly the child disappeared because whatever. Nothing too noteworthy. I would just put Mike Meekins like right here. Yeah. He's once again C tier, pretty average, whatever. I have nothing to hate about Mike Meekins. He's funny at times. Just a wimpy, dorky dude. Bruce Goodman being the victim. I'm trying to think of like aspect. Yeah, Bruce Goodman like was a detective. He was like an investigator for the Joe Dog killings, and he was the one that was going after Joe Dog, I believe. And that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else that he did. So I'll put him here. Actually, right here. Joe Dog himself, of him, my classic joke about Joe Dog is how he's just, his whole life is just like a failed hitman mission where he just kills somebody and then somebody saw him kill that person, so he has to kill that person, and then somebody saw him kill that person and he has to kill that person, and it's just a whole cycle. It's like, ah, well, shit, oh god, he's just freaking out in the hitman mission, and it's basically, he's somewhat interesting. I'll put him in bottom C. So everybody down here is worse than a serial killer. Makes sense. Neil Marshall. I think he had he won like a prosecutor's trophy, He won that, and that's it. I thought he had like feelings for somebody, but I can't remember who. I thought he did. I could be wrong about that. I'm probably wrong about that. Once again, Neil Marshall. I'm there. And then finally we have the chief prosecutor, I'm pretty sure. Basically, he's the, no, I believe that, no, he's not the chief of police. The chief of police is Damon Gant. I believe, yeah, he's the chief prosecutor. Basically, he's the guy at the desk whenever you go to the detective agency. Maybe he's like the lead detective? I can't remember. But the guy that's always like looking at his computer and playing like Scrabble or whatever. Sudoku and looking at tabloids. You know. Fun character to like just talk to every now and again. So I'm gonna put him there and say to hey, great list, Darren. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, of course, I might change my opinions as we go along through these games, but for now, I'm gonna keep that as is. It seems like there's a lot of people in S tier, but that's slowly going, because we got a lot of main characters there. Of course, the main characters are gonna be S tier because they're very good, but slowly, like, the bottom of those are gonna fill up quite exponentially as these games go along. But for now, thank you all for joining me in this episode of Character Tier List Ace Attorney. Yeah, we'll go with that title. Make sure to like and subscribe, hit that bell to be notified every time I upload, which is every single day. Goodbye.